Envision a world where negativity, obstacles, and challenging individuals no longer possess the power to disrupt your inner peace. Pause and genuinely contemplate this possibility. You navigate existence with unparalleled ease. Undoubtedly, trials and tribulations will inevitably emerge, but now you confront them with unwavering composure, untouched by the waves of anxiety and emotional turmoil that once consumed you. This is far from mere fantasizing, it is entirely achievable. By the conclusion of this discourse, you shall be equipped with the essential tools to genuinely attain mastery over emotional detachment, enabling you to maintain an unshakable sense of serenity, stability, and strength, irrespective of the circumstances surrounding you. You have, without a doubt, encountered individuals who possess this remarkable attribute, individuals who appear impervious to external forces, maintaining their poise even amidst the most dire of situations. They traverse life's path with apparent effortlessness. They are held in high regard, admired by many, and frequently, the object of silent envy. However, let me share a profound secret with you: these individuals are not endowed with any extraordinary gifts. They simply possess knowledge that eludes the majority, namely, that the art of emotional control and detachment can be mastered by anyone who dedicates themselves to practicing a handful of fundamental principles. You see, the true essence of emotional detachment does not lie in suppressing your emotions, rather, it entails cultivating the ability to observe them objectively, without allowing them to dictate your actions or reactions. Therefore, emotional detachment isn't about becoming a robot, devoid of feelings. It's about gaining mastery over those feelings, so they no longer hold sway over you. It's about reclaiming your power and choosing your response, rather than being a victim of your emotional state. It allows you to act with clarity and intention, even in the face of adversity. In essence, it is about becoming the master of your own emotional destiny. Maintaining equilibrium amidst life's relentless pressures is the essence of resilience. Have you ever observed the remarkable ease with which individuals succumb to minor irritations? A discourteous remark, a sluggish internet connection, or a deflated tire can instantaneously derail their entire day. Their thoughts begin to race uncontrollably, leading to complaints, outbursts, and a significant loss of productivity. Perhaps you yourself have experienced such a scenario. However, consider this. How many of these seemingly significant annoyances will genuinely matter in 5 years? Precisely, almost none. Nevertheless, we consciously grant these trivial matters an extraordinary degree of influence over our emotional well-being. Consequently, what if you were to make a deliberate decision, here and now, to cease allocating your valuable mental resources to inconsequential occurrences? The fundamental secret to achieving unwavering composure originates precisely from this conscious determination, discerning which matters warrant your emotional investment and which do not. Because in truth, each and every reaction we exhibit is, in fact, a conscious choice. Consider, for example, someone who directs an insult towards you. What is your immediate, instinctive response? It might be anger, defensiveness, or perhaps even hurt feelings. But now, let us pause and reconsider. What if, instead, you responded with a tranquil smile, expressed your gratitude, and simply walked away? This deliberate choice, this conscious act of non-engagement, holds the key to preserving your inner peace and fostering unshakable resilience in the face of life's inevitable challenges. Thus, by carefully curating our emotional responses, we can navigate the complexities of existence with grace and fortitude. Here's what truly unfolds next: you effectively strip them of their influence. They anticipated a reaction from you, a visible display of emotion. Indeed, they thrived on that very emotional energy. Consequently, when you offer them nothing, no emotional fuel whatsoever, they are rendered utterly powerless. They are left with nothing to consume. This is the inherent, unspoken strength that arises from emotional detachment. It's a potent force, a quiet reservoir of resolve. And isn't it profoundly interesting how the most formidable, the most highly regarded individuals throughout recorded history have invariably been those who maintain composure, even amidst intense pressure. Think about it, they are the leaders, the visionaries who carve new paths, the individuals who inspire others profoundly, often simply through their calm and collected presence. People innately sense their inner strength, respect their inherent power, and naturally gravitate towards following their lead. But why is that the case? The answer lies in the simple truth that control of oneself, mastery over one's own emotions, constitutes the highest and most effective form of influence. When people come to realize that you cannot be easily shaken, that you are impervious to their attempts at emotional manipulation, they understand, often implicitly, that you possess a deep well of strength, a resilience that they themselves may lack. This understanding, in turn, grants you respect, deference, and admiration without ever needing to overtly demand it. Respect is freely given, not forcefully taken. Have you ever observed that those who are perpetually seeking approval, those who demonstrate a desperate need for validation from external sources, are almost invariably emotionally unstable? Even a single, seemingly insignificant negative comment can throw them completely off balance, sending them spiraling into doubt and anxiety. This vulnerability stems from their reliance on external affirmation, making them susceptible to the slightest criticism. However, individuals who cease their relentless pursuit of external validation attain a genuine and profound sense of power. They liberate themselves from the constraints of being mere puppets, controlled by the whims of external opinion. Consider your own situation presently. To what extent are your actions guided by an underlying need for the approval of others? Envision a scenario where you awaken tomorrow, completely devoid of this need. Imagine the liberation, the unparalleled mental clarity, and the potent aura of self-assurance that you would radiate if the opinions of others held absolutely no sway over you. This isn't about cultivating arrogance or becoming dismissive, rather, it centers on achieving unwavering clarity of purpose. Because, undeniably, when you possess a clear understanding of your objectives, inconsequential opinions forfeit all their significance. They simply fade into the background noise. Therefore, the subsequent time someone subjects you to criticism, pose a simple, yet profoundly insightful question to yourself: does this person's opinion truly hold weight for me? Are they an individual whom I deeply respect, someone whose judgment is genuinely worthy of my attention and consideration? More often than not, you will come to the realization that the answer is a resounding no. But what about criticism that genuinely matters? What about constructive criticism emanating from respected sources? Should you disregard that as well? Absolutely not, but even in those instances, cultivate the ability to disentangle the inherent value from the accompanying sting. Learn to extract the useful elements while filtering out the negativity. Thus, you can grow and refine your abilities without being demoralized. Avoid immediate reaction. Instead, pause momentarily, take a deep breath, and analyze the situation with a calm and collected demeanor. Carefully extract what is genuinely beneficial and discard the superfluous elements. Proceed forward with renewed determination. The ability to process criticism objectively, devoid of emotional interference, transforms you into an unstoppable force. Therefore, each setback evolves into a valuable stepping stone, and every critique becomes an essential instrument for self-improvement. Imagine an entrepreneur whose business has tragically collapsed. For the majority, this would represent an utterly devastating blow. However, for an individual who possesses emotional detachment, the situation is perceived as mere data, providing invaluable feedback. Consequently, they utilize this feedback to reconstruct their enterprise, making it stronger, smarter, and more resilient than before. And this is precisely why those who cultivate this crucial skill consistently surpass those who do not. It is not that emotionally detached individuals lack empathy or concern; on the contrary, it is because they possess a profound dedication to the things that truly matter. They prioritize their overarching goals, their inner tranquility, and their lasting success, refusing to be derailed by temporary discomfort or fleeting setbacks. How then, can you cultivate this potent detachment in your day-to-day existence? Begin with small, manageable steps. The next time you find yourself ensnared in a traffic jam, rather than succumbing to frustration and annoyance, view it as a unique opportunity to pause, breathe deeply, and engage in quiet reflection. Transform this inconvenience into a chance for mindfulness practice, thereby turning a potentially negative experience into a positive one. In this way, you develop the mental fortitude to handle larger challenges with grace and equanimity. As you dedicate yourself to practice, gradually broaden the application of this method to encompass more significant adversities. Picture this: a relationship concludes abruptly and unexpectedly. Your immediate response. Pause, inhale deeply, and meticulously observe the kaleidoscope of emotions surging within you, all without succumbing to their overwhelming force. Grant yourself the space to experience these feelings fully, yet simultaneously prevent them from dictating your subsequent actions. The fundamental truth, often misunderstood, is that emotional detachment doesn't diminish your capacity for joy. On the contrary, it acts as a catalyst, amplifying your experience of it. When you are no longer perpetually agitated by trivial annoyances or disheartening letdowns, life transforms into a more serene, lucid, and genuinely gratifying journey. Envision a seasoned sailor skillfully navigating a tempestuous ocean. Does he succumb to panic with each towering wave that crashes against his vessel, with every fierce gust of wind that threatens to tear his sails? Of course not. Instead, he deftly adjusts his sails to harness the wind's power, calmly assesses his current course, and steadfastly maintains his forward momentum. In this scenario, that resilient sailor represents you. Life, inevitably, will present you with a continuous barrage of waves, representing challenges and obstacles. However, it is your composed and measured reaction to these waves that ultimately determines your safe and successful arrival at your desired destination. This understanding leads us to an incredibly important and profound idea: your internal state, the very landscape of your mind and emotions, profoundly shapes your external reality. When your mind remains tranquil, a sanctuary of calm amidst the chaos, your environment, both immediate and far-reaching, soon mirrors this inner peace. Have you ever encountered someone whose mere presence exudes a sense of tranquility? Someone who radiates an aura of unwavering confidence and unshakable stability without ever resorting to raising their voice or displaying outward aggression? These individuals are masters of their internal state, and their external world reflects this mastery. That is the remarkable power of inner composure, a subtle yet potent energy that wordlessly garners respect, cultivates trust, and inspires profound admiration. It is a quality that resonates deeply with those who possess it and those who observe it. But how does one cultivate such an enviable state of being? The journey begins with the dedicated training of your mind. Incorporate daily moments of stillness into your routine. Engage in practices like meditation and deliberate silence. Practice observing your thoughts without the burden of judgment or self-criticism. This conscious detachment is key. Moreover, actively cultivate discipline. Make the deliberate choice to favor patience over impulsive anger. Opt for careful observation instead of immediate, unthinking reaction. As you diligently pursue these practices, you will eventually notice something truly extraordinary. The world, in its own way, begins bending to your calmness, rather than relentlessly forcing you to conform to its chaotic rhythms. Understand clearly, and without any doubt, that true strength is not characterized by loud pronouncements or aggressive displays. It does not boast or react violently in the face of adversity. Rather, true strength resides in quiet power, in a demeanor that is steady and unwavering, like a deeply rooted tree weathering a storm. It manifests in responding thoughtfully, not merely reacting impulsively. Think carefully and deliberately about the very word reaction itself. Reactions are, by their very nature, automatic and uncontrolled. They are knee-jerk responses triggered by external stimuli. A response, however, is fundamentally different. It is deliberate, carefully considered, and consciously chosen. It reflects a thoughtful and reasoned approach. Therefore, the next time stress begins to rise within you, make a conscious effort to respond rather than react. Practice this every single day, and before long, the automatic reaction will gradually fade entirely. Calm, considered responses will become your natural default setting, the way you automatically engage with the world. This transformation will not only enhance your inner peace but also significantly improve your interactions with others. Reconsider your approach to criticism. Instead of instinctively reacting defensively, cultivate a patient and attentive listening style. Rather than rushing to explain or defend your position, thoughtfully consider their viewpoint with objectivity. Instead of succumbing to emotional turmoil, calmly evaluate whether the critique offers genuine opportunities for personal growth. By transforming your response to criticism, you gain invaluable insights and strengthen your resilience. Here's an intriguing concept: silence can be one of your most potent responses. Ponder negotiations, for example. Someone demands an immediate answer, exerting pressure upon you. What transpires if you deliberately pause, thoughtfully reflect, and maintain silence for a fleeting moment? They begin to experience discomfort, they start questioning their own assumptions. Consequently, silence subtly but undeniably places you in control, shifting the balance of power. This is not merely theoretical, it proves effective in every interaction. Silence allows you to observe carefully, to think strategically about your next move, to gather crucial information, and to reveal less about your own intentions. Silence commands respect precisely because it is both rare and powerful. Have you observed how the vast majority of people engage in ceaseless chatter, inadvertently revealing insecurities and weaknesses through their constant talking? Silence, conversely, preserves an aura of mystery, commands unwavering attention, and grants an undeniable sense of authority. It speaks volumes without uttering a single word. Envision yourself in future difficult conversations. Remember the power of silence. Picture yourself calmly absorbing the situation, strategically choosing your words, and wielding the strength of quiet contemplation. It is in these moments of silent assessment that true understanding and effective solutions often emerge. Embrace the power of silence, and transform your interactions with the world. Envision, if you will, the compelling image of how maintaining a composed, quiet, and reflective demeanor can organically draw others into your sphere. Silence, far from being an absence, transforms into your valuable confederate, a discreet yet undeniably potent companion throughout your journey. Achieving mastery over this profound silence equates to achieving complete dominion over your own emotional landscape. Consequently, your emotional state evolves from a potential vulnerability into a powerful instrument at your disposal. You begin to perceive emotions not as entrenched inhabitants of your being, but rather as transient visitors passing through. Therefore, you consciously permit them to dissipate without clinging to corrosive sentiments such as anger or enduring resentment. It is crucial to acknowledge that the most adept practitioners of emotional detachment are neither devoid of feeling nor indifferent to the world around them. Instead, they possess a lucid understanding that external circumstances should never be granted the power to disrupt their inner serenity. This, then, becomes your paramount objective: to experience each day with profound awareness, unwavering engagement, and deep connection, while simultaneously remaining impervious to the inherent turbulence of life. Challenges, inevitably, will arise, however, you shall stand resolute and calm in the face of adversity. Criticism may be leveled against you, yet you will maintain a steadfast and unyielding composure. Pressure may mount, threatening to overwhelm you, but you will remain still and centered. Reflect thoughtfully on the following question: with what frequency do you permit minor inconveniences to exert undue influence over the trajectory of your entire day? A missed train, a spilled cup of coffee, or the unfortunate incident of someone cutting you off in traffic, any of these seemingly insignificant occurrences can rapidly escalate into a cascade of stress and frustration, potentially derailing your entire emotional equilibrium. However, the question arises, why would anyone willingly surrender their valuable emotional equilibrium to circumstances that possess little enduring importance? The reality is that a considerable portion of the population exists in a perpetual reactive mode. They permit each external occurrence to ignite an emotional response within them. Nevertheless, it's crucial to introspect. Does succumbing to anger or frustration ever genuinely prove beneficial? Does it enhance the situation at hand, or does it contribute positively to your overall well-being? The answer is almost invariably negative. Conversely, it depletes your vital energy, obscures your decision-making capabilities, and propels you into needless disputes. Therefore, how can one liberate oneself from this repetitive pattern? It commences with heightened self-awareness. Scrutinize your behavior in stressful scenarios. Observe the gradual surge of emotions and pinpoint the precise instant when you begin to relinquish control. This seemingly straightforward awareness generates a mental buffer, a space within which you possess the agency to select an alternative course of action. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can consciously choose a more constructive response. Reflect upon elite athletes who have ascended to the pinnacle of their respective sports. Their training regimes extend far beyond the physical realm. They dedicate considerable effort to honing their mental fortitude. They proactively anticipate pressure and meticulously prepare themselves mentally for its arrival. They engage in vivid visualization, mentally rehearsing a multitude of possible scenarios and pre-planning their reactions. Consequently, when actual pressure materializes, their response is characterized by composure and calculated precision, rather than frantic, uncontrolled emotional outbursts. Thus, by cultivating a similar level of mental discipline, we too can learn to navigate life's challenges with greater equanimity and resilience. You, too, possess the capacity to cultivate this invaluable skill. The next occasion you encounter stress, regardless of its origin, be it at your workplace, within the intricacies of relationships, or during the course of everyday interactions, proactively visualize your serene and balanced response. Deliberately and mentally rehearse the manner in which you will maintain your composure, remain detached from the emotional fray, and exercise rationality. Through consistent and dedicated practice over an extended period, this technique effectively rewires your brain. Consequently, it will naturally default to a state of tranquility rather than succumbing to the debilitating grip of panic. Doubtless, you have encountered the well-worn adage, "Stay calm under pressure." However, have you truly contemplated the immense power such an ability bestows upon you? Maintaining equanimity does not imply an absence of pressure, rather, it signifies that you have achieved mastery over your emotions. To such an extent that external circumstances can no longer exert control over your being. Thus, when those around you succumb to panic, you emerge as the unwavering voice of reason, a beacon of clarity in the storm. Furthermore, when others engage in heated arguments or even physical altercations, your silence and lucidity resonate far more powerfully than their impassioned words ever could. In essence, your calmness evolves into your most formidable asset, an attribute that elicits admiration and profound respect from everyone in your proximity. And yet, remarkably, a multitude of individuals continue to harbor a deep-seated fear of silence. But why? The answer lies in the perceived vulnerability that silence engenders. It has the potential to expose underlying insecurities and deeply rooted anxieties. However, once you actively embrace silence, once you consciously allow yourself to find comfort within its profound depths, it transforms into your most steadfast and reliable ally. Therefore, silence is not something to be feared, but rather a powerful tool to be wielded with intention and grace. In the hushed stillness, a remarkable clarity begins to dawn. Indeed, within the embrace of silence, your authentic desires and motivations become strikingly apparent. Consider for a moment an individual whom you deeply admire and respect. It is highly probable that they are not the most boisterous or vociferous person present in any gathering. More often than not, they are individuals who quietly observe their surroundings, meticulously selecting each word they utter. And when they finally choose to speak, it is with such deliberate precision that everyone present listens attentively. But why is this the case? The answer lies in the fact that silence serves to amplify their pronouncements, imbuing their thoughts with significant weight and undeniable authority. You, too, possess this very same power within yourself. Therefore, it is essential to consciously cultivate the practice of deliberate silence. When faced with a situation where someone demands an immediate response, consciously pause and allow for a brief moment of contemplative silence. Observe closely how rapidly the dynamics of the interaction shift. Suddenly, you find yourself no longer reacting impulsively or instinctively. Instead, you are thoughtfully and carefully responding, thereby making deliberate and powerful decisions. This is because silence allows you to gather your thoughts and respond with intention, rather than reflex. However, the mastery of silence extends far beyond its usefulness in conflict resolution or strategic negotiations. It proves equally potent in the realm of personal relationships. Reflect upon how often you have found yourself regretting something said impulsively in a moment of anger or frustration. Words spoken carelessly, without forethought, can create lasting emotional damage. Yet, silence, when employed thoughtfully and carefully, possesses the remarkable capacity to heal wounds and foster mutual respect. In this way, silence becomes not just an absence of speech, but a powerful tool for building stronger bonds. Let us now consider a real-life scenario to further illustrate this principle. Imagine yourself engaged in a heated argument with someone you deeply care about. The tension is palpable, emotions are running high, and the potential for irreparable damage looms large. In such moments, the instinct to retaliate with equally harsh words may seem overwhelming. However, it is precisely at this juncture that the power of silence can prove transformative. By consciously choosing to pause, to refrain from immediate reaction, you create an opportunity to de-escalate the situation. Silence allows both you and your partner to regain composure, to reflect upon the underlying issues, and to approach the conflict with greater empathy and understanding. Thus, silence becomes a bridge to reconciliation, rather than a catalyst for further division. Words, like fleeting birds, take flight, and emotions, like turbulent waves, rise to crests of intensity. But what if, instead of instantly retaliating with a counter-volley of words, you deliberately paused? Imagine, for a moment, a profound silence, a stillness where you simply listen, truly listen, to the speaker. In that pregnant pause, your silence, surprisingly, communicates a depth of compassion and an unyielding strength that words, in their haste, could never hope to convey. It subtly shifts the entire energetic landscape of the interaction, effectively diffusing burgeoning tension rather than recklessly escalating the potential conflict. However, true emotional mastery, that coveted state of inner equilibrium, delves even deeper into the human psyche. It demands a complete and utter letting go of those outcomes that lie firmly beyond the sphere of your control. This, perhaps, represents the most arduous and challenging aspect of emotional regulation, the unwavering acceptance of inherent uncertainty and the conscious releasing of attachment to specific, predetermined results. Reflect for a moment on the last significant disappointment you confronted. Did you find yourself spending countless days, perhaps even weeks, meticulously replaying the painful scenario within the confines of your mind, endlessly asking the agonizing question, what if? That relentless mental loop, that repetitive cycle of regret, is a cunning trap, a snare that keeps you inextricably stuck in the past, rendering you paralyzed and ultimately unable to move forward toward a brighter future. Now, envision approaching such setbacks with an entirely different perspective, a fresh and empowering outlook. Imagine, if you will, that you instantly accepted all outcomes, both the favorable and the unfavorable, without succumbing to the debilitating effects of emotional turmoil. This is not an act of passive resignation, a surrender to fate, rather, it is an act of profound empowerment, a reclaiming of your inner strength. It's recognizing with unwavering clarity precisely what aspects of your life you can genuinely control, your immediate responses, your deliberate actions, and then consciously releasing all that remains beyond your grasp, the capricious choices of other people and the myriad of unforeseen events that inevitably shape our lives. Therefore, by embracing acceptance and focusing on your sphere of influence, you pave the way for emotional resilience and a more fulfilling existence. This particular mindset holds the remarkable power to transmute failures into invaluable lessons, and transform setbacks into essential stepping stones on the path to progress. Consequently, it liberates your mental landscape from the burden of superfluous pain, gnawing frustration, and debilitating anxiety. Suddenly, and almost miraculously, life ceases to be a relentless battle and instead metamorphoses into a flowing river, fluid, adaptable, and ultimately, profoundly fulfilling. To illustrate this concept more vividly, let us consider the poignant story of an individual who faced the unexpected and jarring loss of their employment. Initially, as is often the case, they are utterly devastated, completely consumed by a whirlwind of worry and bitter resentment. However, after diligently practicing the art of emotional detachment, a profound shift occurs. They come to the insightful realization that the job loss was not a personal affront, but rather, simply the unfolding of reality, an impartial event in the grand tapestry of existence. Armed with this newfound perspective, they execute a swift pivot, deftly utilizing the seeming setback as a golden opportunity for profound personal and professional growth. They bravely explore new skills, perhaps previously dormant or untapped, or embark on an entirely new venture, one that resonates more deeply with their passions and aspirations. In a remarkably short span of time, they find themselves not only happier but also significantly more fulfilled, experiencing a deep sense of gratitude for the unexpected redirection that life has provided. This, indeed, is the transformative power that emotional detachment so generously offers. It's crucial to understand that this practice is not about cultivating indifference or apathy towards the world around you. On the contrary, it is about cultivating wisdom, learning to skillfully separate your emotional well-being from the ever-changing tides of external events. Because when your internal peace and tranquility depend solely on circumstances that lie outside of yourself, you become vulnerable, susceptible to being easily shaken and destabilized by the inevitable ups and downs of life. However, when your peace is internal, deeply rooted within the very core of your being, you become, in essence, invincible, capable of weathering any storm with grace and resilience. Furthermore, the profound benefits derived from the practice of emotional detachment can be significantly enhanced through the incorporation of daily meditation or mindfulness routines into your life. These practices serve as powerful tools for cultivating self-awareness and fostering a deeper connection with your inner self, thereby strengthening your ability to maintain emotional equilibrium amidst the challenges of everyday existence. Each day, dedicate approximately 10 minutes to observing your thoughts with a sense of impartial curiosity and without allowing yourself to become ensnared by them. Imagine your emotions surfacing and receding, akin to the rhythmic ebb and flow of ocean waves. Simply witness this process without attempting to seize or cling to any particular feeling. This consistent practice, over a period of time, effectively retrains your brain. Consequently, you'll begin to perceive emotions as transient states, rather than immutable, definitive truths. Another particularly beneficial daily exercise involves the practice of journaling. In the evening, take time to thoughtfully reflect upon situations where you found yourself reacting primarily from an emotional standpoint, and juxtapose those experiences with instances where you responded with rationality and sound judgment. As you diligently engage in this introspective process, you will, in due course, discern discernible patterns emerging. You will gain a clearer understanding of how emotional detachment consistently leads to enhancements in your personal outcomes, strengthens the quality of your relationships, and contributes to a greater sense of overall happiness and well-being. It is crucial to remember that cultivating emotional detachment is an ongoing journey, not a fixed destination. Inevitably, there will be days when you experience feelings of being shaken, frustrated, or generally upset, and it is perfectly acceptable to acknowledge these emotions. The essential element is maintaining awareness. Acknowledge emotional turmoil not as a life sentence or a permanent condition, but rather as a signal or indicator. Each challenge you successfully navigate serves to fortify your resolve, reinforce your emotional discipline, and propel you further along the path toward complete self-mastery. The time will eventually arrive when you encounter a situation that previously would have shattered your inner peace and tranquility. However, this time, you will be equipped to handle it with grace and equanimity. Therefore, embrace the journey with patience and self-compassion. Instead of reacting impulsively, envision yourself greeting situations with a serene smile. Observe your emotions objectively, maintaining a firm grasp on your composure. Respond with thoughtful deliberation rather than knee-jerk reactions. In that transformative instant, you will achieve a comprehensive understanding of the profound essence of authentic emotional fortitude. It is characterized by tranquility, unwavering confidence, and an unshakable sense of stability. It is utterly independent of any external sway. Now, conjure the prospect of commencing each day with the resolute assurance that nothing of an external nature can disrupt your inner equilibrium, unless you grant it permission to do so. Envision the exhilarating mental liberation, the lucidity of thought, and the inherent strength that would accompany you in all your endeavors. No disparaging remark, no unforeseen setback, nor any external occurrence could ever again pilfer your hard-earned peace. This is the very pledge that mastering emotional detachment holds. It is attainable for you at this very moment. Initiate your journey today. Opt for tranquility over the tumultuousness of chaos. Embrace well-considered responses instead of impetuous reactions, and embrace silence as your potent confidant. Gradually, step by measured step, you will cultivate a resilient mindset that remains steadfast, possessing clarity, and altogether unstoppable, irrespective of the trials and tribulations that life may present. Have you ever paused to contemplate the underlying reason for the natural inclination of individuals towards those who exude calmness? It is because calmness, in its essence, emanates an aura of inherent strength and unwavering reliability. When you embody composure, you are, in effect, broadcasting a message of immense power. You possess absolute mastery over yourself, and, by extension, over the diverse circumstances you encounter. Thus, cultivating emotional detachment allows you to navigate life's challenges with poise and resilience, fostering a deeper sense of inner peace and control. By embracing this practice, you not only enhance your own well-being but also inspire confidence and trust in those around you, creating a positive ripple effect in your personal and professional relationships. Therefore, embark on this transformative journey today and unlock the boundless potential of a calm and centered mind. People, by their very nature, tend to place their trust in individuals who consistently exhibit emotional stability. It's as if they possess an innate ability to perceive that you are someone equipped to lead effectively, provide unwavering support to others, and navigate the often turbulent and unpredictable currents of life without succumbing to emotional turmoil. Consider, for a moment, the historical figures who have captivated and inspired millions across generations. A striking common thread often binds them together: emotional resilience. These leaders were not defined by outbursts of anger or displays of uncontrolled temper. Instead, they were characterized by their unwavering calm and resolute determination, qualities that enabled them to steer nations through crises and ignite transformative movements. These insightful individuals possessed a profound understanding. Emotions, when left unchecked, have the power to cloud judgment and diminish clarity. By maintaining emotional detachment, they were able to perceive situations with unwavering clarity and respond with appropriate action, regardless of the prevailing circumstances. Thus, their ability to remain composed under pressure became a defining characteristic of their leadership. Now, envision applying this very wisdom to your own professional life. It's a potent tool for navigating the complexities of the workplace. A significant portion of workplace conflicts arise not from genuine disagreements regarding substantive issues, but rather from situations in which emotion seize control. Frustration, simmering anger, and deep-seated resentment have the potential to escalate even the most trivial misunderstandings into full-blown conflicts. These negative emotions can poison the atmosphere, hindering collaboration and productivity. Therefore, cultivating emotional intelligence becomes paramount in fostering a harmonious and effective work environment. The ability to manage your own emotions and understand those of others is a key ingredient for professional success and personal well-being. Imagine transforming into that individual at your workplace, the one who consistently exhibits unwavering composure, even when facing immense pressure. Consequently, your colleagues and superiors would undoubtedly recognize something quite extraordinary in you. During stressful meetings, your serene proposals would resonate with remarkable clarity. When disagreements inevitably surface, your composed behavior would possess the power to convert potential clashes into constructive exchanges. In effect, your emotional discipline would establish you as an authentic leader, someone known for their reliability, maturity, and unwavering trustworthiness. However, a common concern arises, the apprehension of becoming emotionally disconnected, mistakenly associating it with a diminishment of empathy or genuine warmth. Yet, nothing could be further from the reality of the situation. Emotional detachment, in actuality, amplifies your capacity for empathy. This is because it empowers you to engage with compassion, without being consumed by another person's emotional turmoil. You evolve into a steadfast presence, a bedrock of stability that others can depend on during turbulent times. You maintain your empathetic nature, offering unwavering support, remaining profoundly human, while simultaneously remaining untouched by negativity or unnecessary drama. You become a beacon of level-headedness, someone who can offer thoughtful assistance without getting swept up in the storm. Moreover, the benefits of emotional detachment extend far beyond external interactions. It profoundly reshapes your inner landscape. This inner transformation allows you to navigate challenges with greater resilience and clarity, ultimately contributing to your overall well-being and professional success. It's a journey of self-mastery that unlocks your full potential. Envision your mind as a verdant garden. If neglected, like any untended patch, it will swiftly become overrun with weeds, those insidious negative thoughts and corrosive emotions. However, should you diligently manage this inner sanctuary, purposefully uprooting negativity and fostering serene, affirmative states, you will cultivate an environment where tranquility, innovation, and lucidity flourish. Therefore, each day, embark on a deliberate practice of identifying those emotional weeds, thoughts deeply embedded in anxieties, corrosive anger, or gnawing frustration. Conscientiously acknowledge their presence, but, crucially, resist the urge to nourish them with your focused attention. Instead, with composed resolve, gently redirect your mental energies towards feelings of profound gratitude, unwavering acceptance, or the pursuit of constructive resolutions. Through consistent application, this mindful practice gradually reshapes your entire mental landscape. Negativity, once a formidable force, begins to lose its tenacious grip, ultimately being supplanted by a consistent, unwavering sense of emotional clarity and inner strength. This transformation is not merely superficial, it penetrates to the very core of your being. Now, let's consider a pragmatic illustration of this principle in action. Imagine confronting an unanticipated period of intense financial strain. The typical reaction, for most individuals, is to succumb to unbridled panic, becoming utterly consumed by debilitating anxiety about the uncertain future. But someone who has cultivated emotional detachment, a skilled practitioner of mental gardening, will instead assess the daunting situation with cool logic and unwavering composure, meticulously planning their subsequent steps with precision. Consequently, instead of spiraling downwards into a vortex of debilitating emotional turmoil, they harness the power of clarity to proactively seek viable solutions, diligently explore untapped opportunities, and, ultimately, regain full financial control. This proactive approach, born from emotional mastery, transforms a potential crisis into a challenge to be overcome with grace and resilience. They understand that financial setbacks, while unpleasant, are not insurmountable, and with a clear head and a steady hand, they can navigate even the most turbulent financial waters. In this way, a well-tended mind becomes a powerful asset in all aspects of life. Indeed, individuals encounter stress, a ubiquitous aspect of modern existence. However, they possess the remarkable ability to prevent it from engulfing or defining their very essence. Moreover, emotional detachment proves to be a truly transformative force, particularly within the realm of interpersonal relationships. Consider the sheer volume of conflicts that erupt solely due to emotions spiraling out of control, transcending the boundaries of reason. Envision a scenario wherein your partner or a cherished friend utters something inadvertently hurtful. Your instantaneous response might be one of defensiveness, perhaps even a surge of anger. But emotional detachment presents a compelling alternative pathway. Instead of reacting on impulse, driven by raw emotion, take a moment to pause, to reflect, and to pose the crucial question: what underlying motivations are prompting them to express these sentiments? What is the deeper, perhaps unacknowledged, issue veiled behind their words? This detached form of curiosity, this inquisitive approach rooted in objectivity, possesses the remarkable capacity to swiftly diffuse tension. It acts as a calming balm, soothing the inflamed emotions that threaten to ignite conflict. Instead of engaging in a heated argument, a futile exchange of barbs, you actively engage in constructive dialogue, seeking to understand rather than to condemn. Your inherent calmness, your unwavering composure, subtly but powerfully shifts the trajectory of the conversation, steering it toward mutual understanding rather than escalating into further conflict. Over the passage of time, as you consistently employ this detached approach, your relationships will inevitably deepen, becoming richer and more fulfilling than you ever thought possible. This blossoming of connection stems from your acquired ability to navigate the turbulent emotional waters with skill and grace, avoiding the pitfalls of emotional entanglement that can often lead to sinking. It's about staying afloat, remaining centered, and guiding the ship of your relationships toward calmer seas. Thus, emotional detachment becomes not a barrier, but a bridge to deeper connection. Another invaluable perspective to consider revolves around understanding the pivotal role your ego plays in shaping your emotional reactions. It's crucial to recognize that the vast majority of negative emotional responses, those feelings of anger, defensiveness, and jealousy that can plague our interactions, are, in fact, primarily driven by the ego. Your ego, that often fragile construct of self-image and self-importance, perceives a threat and instinctively reacts in an attempt to protect itself from perceived harm. It's a primal defense mechanism, often operating beneath the surface of conscious awareness, subtly influencing our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. This understanding is the first step towards liberation from the ego's potentially destructive influence. However, ponder this: does defending your ego ever truly enhance your existence or strengthen your bonds with others? The answer is seldom. More often than not, it cultivates more detriment than benefit. Emotional detachment, conversely, entails transcending the confines of the ego and observing occurrences with impartiality. In essence, you come to understand that critique is not an assault, but merely an expression of opinions conveyed through words. Rejection, similarly, should not be interpreted as a personal affront. It is, in its simplest form, a divergence of requirements or aspirations. Failures, too, are not humiliations to be ashamed of, but rather invaluable feedback mechanisms that facilitate personal evolution and advancement. Therefore, liberating oneself from ego-driven reactions unlocks the gateway to authentic self-improvement. This, in turn, forges stronger, more meaningful relationships and cultivates a profound sense of inner tranquility. It's a transformative journey, demanding conscious effort and a willingness to challenge ingrained patterns of behavior. The rewards, however, are immeasurable, leading to a more fulfilling and harmonious life. Moreover, the practice of gratitude can substantially bolster emotional detachment. Gratitude serves to redirect your attention away from perceived shortcomings and grievances, focusing instead on the abundance of positive and satisfying elements already present in your life. Each day, make a concerted effort to acknowledge and value the auspicious facets of your existence, regardless of how trivial they may initially appear. This consistent appreciation cultivates resilience in a natural and organic manner, continuously reminding you that your happiness and inner peace are inherent qualities, not contingent upon external events or situational factors. Consider, for example, an individual who maintains a consistently grateful disposition, even amidst challenging circumstances. This person possesses an innate ability to find solace and strength in the simple joys of life, effectively mitigating the impact of adversity. They understand that their well-being is not dictated by external validation or material possessions, but rather by an internal sense of contentment and appreciation. This exemplifies the power of gratitude in fostering emotional detachment and cultivating a resilient spirit. For example, someone who lost their job but is grateful for their health and family will feel the loss with less intensity, and have more energy to search for a new one. Discovering elements to cherish, be it the unwavering support of friends, a valuable chance for personal growth, or an untapped reservoir of inner resilience, becomes paramount. This positive frame of mind swiftly metamorphoses obstacles into avenues for advancement, thereby diminishing emotional upheaval and simultaneously amplifying overall satisfaction. Thus, individuals cultivate not only a sense of gratitude but also a proactive approach to life's inevitable challenges. Furthermore, cultivating emotional detachment empowers you to delineate more robust and sustainable personal boundaries. In the absence of impulsive emotional reactions, your capacity to discern when others overstep those boundaries is significantly heightened. Consequently, you are enabled to articulate your limits with composure and assurance, devoid of acrimony or lingering resentment. Individuals rapidly assimilate respect for these established boundaries, recognizing that they are upheld without unnecessary drama or negativity. Consequently, this approach drastically enhances the quality of your interpersonal exchanges, both in personal relationships and within professional settings. Embracing emotional detachment, therefore, becomes a cornerstone for fostering healthier and more fulfilling connections. Intriguingly, the practice of emotional detachment demonstrably elevates both productivity and creative output. When one's mental energies are not dissipated on inconsequential irritations, anxieties, or interpersonal conflicts, a remarkable sense of mental lucidity emerges. Therefore, this heightened clarity significantly enhances your ability to concentrate, fostering deeper, more efficacious thought processes and problem-solving skills. Tasks that formerly appeared arduous or insurmountable transform into manageable, and even enjoyable, endeavors, primarily because your mind maintains a state of consistent calm and clarity. Thus, emotional detachment acts as a catalyst for unlocking one's full potential, enabling individuals to approach their work with renewed focus and creativity. To perpetually fortify the practice of emotional detachment, it becomes advantageous to contemplate the establishment of daily routines that serve as anchors for the mind. Engaging in regular physical activity, adopting mindfulness techniques, or pursuing hobbies that necessitate focused attention, like artistic endeavors, composing written pieces, or mastering a musical instrument, can markedly bolster the stability of your emotional foundation. Such activities furnish constructive avenues for emotional release, fostering a greater sense of tranquility, cultivating patience, and instilling discipline. Consequently, as time progresses, these practices evolve into formidable instruments for sustaining a consistent state of emotional equilibrium. Therefore, emotional detachment transcends its role as a mere tool, it embodies a comprehensive philosophy of existence. This philosophy imparts the wisdom of embracing acceptance rather than succumbing to resistance, embracing serenity instead of succumbing to turmoil, and embracing empowerment over resignation to victimhood. Fundamentally, it restructures your perception of the world and your interactions within it. You cease to regard life as a series of events passively happening to you, but rather as an ongoing process actively molded by your responses and your mindset. Every single day transforms into an opportunity, a chance to reinforce calmness, clarity, and unyielding resilience. Gradually, this deliberate approach indelibly transforms your very character. Friends, family members, and professional colleagues will undoubtedly take note of this profound shift. They develop a deep and abiding respect for you, not merely because of superficial, external changes, but primarily because you have cultivated and attained profound internal self-mastery. This inner strength radiates outward, influencing your relationships and your overall approach to life's challenges. The changes are subtle yet powerful, a testament to the transformative power of emotional detachment as a guiding principle. You possess qualities that make you a pillar of stability and reliability, an individual whom others naturally admire and seek to imitate. Therefore, it's crucial to contemplate the legacy you wish to leave etched in the sands of time. Will it be a testament to emotional turbulence and impulsive reactions, or will it embody serene fortitude and profound emotional acumen? Every single interaction that life presents offers you a distinct choice, a deliberate opportunity to manifest emotional detachment. You can consciously select tranquility over the lure of chaos, and thoughtful responses over knee-jerk reactions. Each of these conscious selections serves to fortify your emotional command, progressively molding the very essence of your life's quality and your lasting influence on the individuals who surround you. So, wholeheartedly embrace this transformative path. Pledge today, this very moment, to evolve into someone whose emotional resilience becomes their defining characteristic. This is because when you attain mastery over your emotions, you effectively gain command over the entirety of your existence. Challenges, once daunting, metamorphose into invaluable opportunities for growth. Setbacks, instead of being defeats, become stepping stones propelling you further along your journey. Criticism, often hurtful, transforms into fuel igniting your personal evolution. Above all else, you evolve into a truly unshakable individual, calmly and confidently navigating the unpredictable currents of existence with unwavering strength, crystal clarity, and profound inner peace. In order to continuously fortify your stoic mindset and deepen your understanding, I urge you to click on the video currently displayed on your screen. It offers further insights and practical techniques. We extend our sincere gratitude for being a valued member of the community. Your presence and engagement contribute to the richness and depth of our shared journey towards self-improvement and emotional resilience.